This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
Good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here. We're going into another episode of the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown, but this one is going to be a little bit more special here. We're going to be talking about weather trivia, but we also have a guest for you guys for today. Joining us is meteorologist Evan Thomason for the first time on a weather trivia episode. Welcome, Evan. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. First of all, this is the first time I'm sitting down in the seat, I think, like ever for this podcast, because I'm usually obviously in your seat over there.
Really?
So I get like a different perspective of different lens, if you will, of going through this whole process. And must I say, I'm very entertained, and I can't wait.
Are you ready for these questions for today?
I'm not sure.
It can get a little bit rigorous.
I'm a little on the tired side. I've also been, my attention's been pulled away from weather to a certain extent because our holiday food drive is in town. It is today. By the way, you should come out. We got 4 different locations for that. We'll have plenty more details on that in a separate stream and separate shows coming up. That essentially goes until 7 p.m. tonight. But I've been doing several live shots for that. My attention's been away. I've been running back and forth. I'm actually sweating a little in my work clothes here, a little more. But hey, getting my steps in, so to speak. So hey, I'm always down for weather, anything. So let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Hopefully those weren't too many excuses there for the trivia questions for today. You know, it could get a little bit rigorous, as what I said before.
I believe in myself.
But I think he should get all of these questions right. And I think he's going to get all of these questions right here. So let's dive into question number 1 for this episode here. For the first question is, what is the name of the shortest day of the year here? I'm going to move myself off of the screen so you guys can see all the answer choices. So we have the summer solstice. You listening, Evan?
Yep.
The summer solstice, winter solstice, fall solstice, or the spring solstice. What is the name of the shortest day of the year? Now, what are you thinking here, Evan?
Gotta go with the winter solstice here. I think
Okay.
it goes with winter. Winter is always associated with colder temperatures, and some of the reasoning behind that is the fact that it is the shortest day of the year, meaning it has the shortest amount of daylight to be able to warm us up as well, so to speak.
Right. That's a pretty good answer, pretty good selection here. I'm not going to say the correct answer just yet, but we also have 3 other choices for you guys. Summer solstice, which is also an actual thing, and we also have fall and spring solstice, which is also different points around the year that it could also be the shortest day of the year. So I'm going to give you guys around 10 seconds to just think of the answer or what it may be, and we'll be right back after around 10 seconds. All right, so the answer to this question is, what is the name for the shortest day of the year? It's actually winter solstice there. So if you pick winter solstice, you got 1 for 1 so far on today's weather trivia. We're also going to be looking at to see, somebody said fall in the chat there. Sorry for the answer there, but the correct answer is the winter solstice. So moving on to the next question, question number 2. What is the lowest temperature is supposed to say temperature, ever recorded in the United States? Now, that's why I say and make it a little bit rigorous for you there, Evan, because you may or may not know the answer to this question here. So here are the different selections here. You have negative 80 degrees. You have negative 70 degrees. You have negative 66 degrees. And you have negative 50 degrees. So this is pretty much a toss-up. You have 25% chance to get this right. What is the lowest temperature ever recorded in the United States? This includes the contiguous United States as well as Hawaii and Alaska, of course.
Okay.
So what are you thinking on this question here, Evan?
Good admit, I do not know the answer to this question. I've
Sir.
heard the roundabout answer to where this should be. And to be fair, just using my selective process of how you went about like the multiple choice answers, I think I'm gonna go with -66 because the rest of them you chose like roundabout answers like -80, -70, right around the tens around there. I know it's negative. I know it's somewhere around that range. I just don't know the exact value of that. But that sounds about right to me because I feel like, especially the coldest temperature per year in the United States, I think it's somewhere around that negative like 30 to 40 mark.
Right.
So I think just a couple more tens of degrees below that into like the -60s. That sounds about right to me, especially for Alaska, which obviously there's some portions of Alaska that don't see daylight. That's like a separate discussion. But there's certain points of Alaska that do not see daylight at all on a single day during the winter.
Right.
Imagine how cold that gets just staying in darkness, complete darkness, and for like a span of like, I think it's a span of like 30 to 40 days, something like that.
Yeah,
Wild.
it's throughout most of the winter season actually, and I believe in the winter solstice, that's when some areas in northern Alaska start to see the first bits of a full day of no sunlight at all. So you have to think about those areas up there. You have to think about, is -66 degrees cold enough? Is -50 degrees cold enough? Is -80 degrees too cold?
Regardless, you will not find me. You will not find me there.
Especially not at the coldest point that it could get, you know?
No.
Like in January, February.
I like cold weather, but then there's that cold and.
There's
good.
levels.
I'm
There's
good.
levels to the different types of cold here. So let's find out the right answer here. Is it -80? Is it -70? Is it -66? Or is it -50 degrees here? Everybody got their answers locked in. I see people saying -60, -66. Also, somebody is joining in
Following
with you
suit. There you go.
on this.
All right.
So let's find out the right answer here. The answer is, drum roll please, -80 degrees.
Dang.
It's -80 degrees.
Wow, that's
here.
impressive. That's impressive.
Yes.
As I said, I knew it was somewhere around that range, but I didn't know the specific value.
Yeah.
Props to you.
Yeah, man. I had looked it up right before, and I was surprised too myself, you know. And I tried to trick you guys with the answer choices here because you said, you know, it's a little bit too specific, so I'm gonna choose this one. It's actually -80 degrees, man. Very cold. And actually, it was recorded in Alaska, in the very northern portions of Alaska there, the state of Alaska. So, yes. Let's move on to the next question here. Question number 3. We have 2 more questions left, including this one. How many sides does a snowflake have, an individual snowflake? Does it have, here's the answer choices here, 8 sides, 7 sides, 6 sides, or does it have 5 sides here? So, what are we thinking here, Evan?
So it's 5, 6, 7, or 8?
Yes, 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Okay. Oh,
and we're thinking about the different sides of a snowflake.
I think I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay.
I remember it being a lot more of like a hexagram, so to speak, which I know is like a weird term, but essentially hexa means 6 sides.
Right, hexa means 6 sides. It's actually hexagon.
Yes, hexagon. Yes.
He's a little bit tired this morning. Give him some grace, guys. Give him some grace. Hexagon it is. Yes, that's a very good notion of it, 5 is penta, 7 I believe is something else. 8 is octa, I believe, for the prefix for it. So let's see what the answer is. Everybody got their answers locked in here. I see 2 people saying 8 sides. Or this is 2 people are saying 8 sides here. And Evan Thomason locks in 6 sides. So here, lock your answers in. The answer to this question is it 8 sides, 7 sides, 6 sides, or 5 sides? And it's actually 6 sides. So
Woo!
Meteorologist Evan Thomason would be right on this question here. So yes, a snowflake does have 6 sides, and it falls, most of them, pretty much all of them have 6 sides as well. So let's move on to the last question here. Hopefully everybody will get the answer to this. This is true or false here, switching it up a little bit for the bonus question. True or false? Can wind can make winter weather feel colder than it really is outside? Repeating it again.
Okay, yeah.
Wind can make winter weather feel colder than it really is outside. Now, what are we thinking? True or false, Evan?
If you can make it feel colder, just based on true feeling, like the feels like temperature, so to speak, then yes, I'm gonna go with the true.
Okay.
Because it helps to bring in more colder air in a colder supply. Colder wind can carry colder air molecules with it and bring that into the Arclitex or just to anywhere around the region, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a pretty true question here. Now I see some people, showing some sad faces in the chat because they maybe haven't gotten too many questions right, but it's okay. It's all okay. Because we'll have many more episodes just like this to, test your weather knowledge, and we want to continue to educate you guys on different weather topics here. That's why we have different weather topics. Like we talked about severe weather, we talked about, I believe, summer, we've talked about winter. Now we're going to be diving into even more topics like this here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. So make sure to try to tune in every weekday for more weather breakdown episodes here on Weather Trivia and at what else we have here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. So I see some people saying true in the chat here, and let's see what the answer is. Is it true or is it false? So the answer to this question is a true statement here. Wind can very well make winter weather feel colder than it really is outside. So that is all the questions that we have here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown episode. In terms of trivia, we're going to be diving into the local forecast in just around 2 minutes after this commercial break. Meteorologist Evan Thomason, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for inviting me, and always thank you for doing this week in and week out with the Weather Trivia. It's a really cool segment. And obviously, again, as you mentioned, if you got it wrong at all, this is all a learning experience at the end of the day. And that's why we do this segment weekly, so I appreciate you for doing it. And thank you for helping me tag along, 75%. Passing grade.
That's a passing grade. That's definitely a passing grade. And sooner or later, the more we do this weather trivia, almost everybody will have a passing grade. And that's what we're working for and working towards here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. Is to share our knowledge so that everybody knows what's going on with the weather and knows many fun facts about the weather as well. So once again, thank you, Meteorologist Evan Thomason, for joining me on this episode for today. We're going to be diving into the 2-minute break right now, so make sure to stay tuned in for the local forecast in just around 2 minutes. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you guys so much for interacting with us here on Facebook and the KSLA First Alert weather app, and on YouTube here for the weather trivia portion of this episode for today. And we're going to be diving into the local forecast now, where we possibly going to be seeing record-breaking temperatures once again, as well as some rain on the way as we move into the overnight hours for tonight for some areas, not for all of us here. But there's a live look outside through our KSLA tower camera. We are looking at mostly cloudy conditions here, overlooking downtown Shreveport in the northeastern direction here. And as you can see, most of the area is dealing with this cloud cover as of right now, with this next weather maker starting to form over in East Texas currently, with these showers and storms over there, and it's expected to slowly make its way towards the Arklatex as we move through the rest of today and into tonight here. Here's a look at temperatures right now across the region. 75 by Shreveport, Marshall, and Longview, around 73 degrees for Texarkana, 73 also for Magnolia, 78 by Mansfield, 77 for Natchitoches, around 72 degrees by DeQueen here in the northern portions of the Arklatex. Here's a look at the forecast throughout the daytime hours today. We're expecting mostly cloudy conditions through the rest of the daytime hours, at least. Maybe a peaking, with sunshine peeking through those clouds for just to reach here at the surface, and we'll be happy to see some sunshine here. But that's going to be the main driver for if or when we receive daily record highs being broken, or we receive record-breaking highs, to be exact here. Southerly flow will be the reason for why temperatures rise back into the lower to mid 80s by this afternoon, and or the temperatures that may rise here will be just pretty much stuck here, mainly due to the cloud cover. The warm air will start to rise, and it would just be returned back down to the surface here. But here's a look at highs for today around the region. Around 84 degrees by Shreveport, 81 by Minden, Homer, and Ruston, 82 for Mansfield and Manny, 83 for Natchitoches, and 83 also for areas up by Idabel, DeQueen, and Hope. And I know that for Shreveport and Bossier for today, our forecast high is just 1 degree higher than our daily record high for today. And this daily record high was set back in 1985, I believe. So pretty long ago, as you can see. So we're more than likely going to see daily record highs become broken for today. And if we receive any more sunshine around any parts of the Arklatex, temperatures will reach a bit higher than the numbers that you see there on the screen here. Feels like temperatures could reach a couple degrees higher than actual temperatures as well through the afternoon hours for today. Here's a look at future track, though. We are expecting maybe an isolated shower or two to move into our portions of East Texas there as we move through the next couple of hours and into the afternoon hours there. But not much rain is expected through the daytime hours for today around the entire Arklatex. And that's not until we reach early morning on our Thursday, where we should see our first batch of showers and storms approach the Arklatex and slowly make its way towards the region. And as you can see, forming into some type of Boeing effect there. The Boeing effect meaning sort of curvature shape that it has there, ranging from areas just east of Texarkana, north of Mount Pleasant, all the way into by Tyler, Texas. That line of storms more than likely will have some gusting to damaging winds, as well as the potential for some large hail in those in northeastern Texas, as well as along the I-30 corridor and northward for those areas up there, as well as heavy rainfall. That looks to be the main concern associated with these storms here for this evening and into the overnight hours for tonight. Now, as we move into towards the early morning hours, or more into the morning hours for our Thursday, this line of storms looks to continue to make its way through the northern portions of the Arklatex, potentially bringing some rainfall to areas along I-20 there. Maybe a shower or two is expected, but definitely not as much rain as areas along I-30 there, but more storms to move past the I-30 corridor and northward as we move towards the later morning hours, and we'll finally be under mostly dry conditions throughout the afternoon and before another batch of showers and storms moves in by the evening hours for our Thursday here. So a bit of a dry period through the middle of the daytime hours for tomorrow before temperatures make their way, or not temperatures, but another batch of rain showers will move in from the west and slowly make its way through the region here. But as you can see, it may become, or may have more severe storms just outside the region before it reaches into the area here. And by the time it reaches into the area, that severity looks to slowly decrease here or weaken as we move into the later evening hours for our Thursday night into early morning Friday. As you can see, not much of those red and orange colors that you see there on the screen by the time we hit around midnight or just after midnight there. Mainly some light to moderate rain showers will be possible for the midsections of the region. This is when rain chances will be the highest for our Friday, more than likely here. But as you can see, moving into the daytime hours for Friday, maybe an isolated shower or scattered showers may make its way through our East Texas portions of the region and the midsections of the Arklatex by I-20, but not much is really expected to go on throughout the rest of the day on Friday. Friday and into the weekend, we may see some isolated storms there as we move into the late Friday night hours and into early morning on Saturday here for most areas along and south of I-20. But that's when the cooler air is expected to file in soon afterwards there, with the mostly clear conditions to the north and western portions of the Arklatex and the cloud cover still in the south and eastern part. In the drier area that you see with the lack of cloud cover, that's the cooler air set to move into the Arklatex soon after here. But this is our next weather maker slowly making its way towards the Arklatex for today. And here's some facts about it. It's actually trending weaker in terms of its severity here. The severe threat actually looks low as of right now as compared to the but at the beginning of this week where we were expecting or haven't seen the potential for severe weather. It's looking low as of right now. Rain chances are actually going down, or they're decreasing here for most of the Arklatex, but it's still possible for us to receive rain. They're not out of the question just yet. The weaker trend is continuing here, especially with the second line of storms moving through Thursday night into Friday. It will more than likely weaken by the time it reaches the Arklatex and maybe bring some severe storms over into East Texas before it starts to weaken even more and continue that weakening trend as it moves through the region. In terms of our severe risk, or not severe risk, but the flooding risk there is a marginal risk for flash flooding. I'm going to be talking about the severe risk in actually just a second here. And in terms of the flooding risk for today, is there a marginal risk for flash flooding out there? And for tomorrow here, there is a slightly higher risk for flash flooding, as you can see there on the screen. We will be dealing with some potential flash flooding conditions, especially in areas north of I-30 there for the area shown in the slight risk color, which is yellow, and the marginal risk color, which is green, shows a slightly lower chance for flash flooding out there across the region. But heading into Friday, little to no rain is expected, hence little to no flash flooding risk out there. But here's a look at the severe risk, which has just been introduced for today around the Arklatex. For late tonight into Thursday morning, there is a marginal risk for severe weather in general. So the main threats associated with this marginal risk for severe weather is large hail is possible out of these storms here. But heavy rainfall is still possible, and gusty winds are definitely still on the table for this storm here. So just giving you guys the first alert to that. This just came into our weather center earlier this morning. This is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. There's a marginal risk for severe weather for the north and western quarter of the Arklatex mainly, from late tonight into Thursday morning, mainly due to the threat and potential for large hail. Now, in terms of the rainfall potential through the next 7 days, we should see a good deal of rainfall here. This is not going to come out of this system alone, just to warn you guys here. There's going to be a good deal of rainfall expected through the next 7 days, but will be a culmination from this one system that we are going to be dealing with for today and through the rest of the work week, as well as another system that will be moving through by the beginning of the new work week here. We're going to wait just a little bit to see if this graphic will load here, but it was a good deal of rainfall on this map here just yesterday, and as you can see, next 7 days associated with that orange color there is nearly 5 inches of rainfall by Mount Pleasant and DeQueen and Idabel in those areas, and the northeastern Texas / Oklahoma portions of the Arklatex there. Definitely a lot of rain on the way for us here around the Arklatex, just to say the least here. Around 2.5 to 3 inches at the least, maybe 2 to 3 inches at the least for areas in our far southeastern portion of the Arklatex by Natchitoches and in our deep southeastern portion of the Arklatex, to say the least here. But Shreveport and Bossier, more than likely we'll see between 3 to 4 inches of rainfall through the next 7 days ahead, according to the Weather Prediction Center. So get ready, everyone, because we could see some flash flooding concerns out there, and this could very well help or improve our drought conditions around the Arklatex, as some of us are dealing with severe drought by Natchitoches, as well as in areas north of Mount Pleasant there, northeastern Texas, and even seeing some severe drought creep into portions of southeastern Texas by Nacogdoches County and St. Augustine County as well. Here in Shreveport and Bossier, dealing with slight drought, but we could start to see some worse drought conditions as we move through we could see worse drought conditions as of the latest update, which is coming out tomorrow, and because we have not seen any rain showers here around the entire Arklatex throughout this past week. Latest updates come out tomorrow, and by next Thursday we should see a more accurate update associated or implemented with the rain showers there that we could see throughout the next few days here by next Thursday. That's when the next update comes out for the drought conditions. Here's our 7-day forecast as we wrap up today's episode. We are expecting some slight rain chances for tomorrow. Actually, let me change this to include the 7-day forecast for today here. Give me a second if I can just find it. There we go. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. And this is including on our today. This is including Wednesday here. Taking a little bit some time to load up here. As you can see, no rain chances are expected for today. Maybe an isolated shower or two is expected in East Texas there, but none for the entire Arklatex. Nothing to worry about. But heading into Thursday, we could see some slight rain chances. Mainly the higher rain chances will be in areas along and north of I-30 for tonight into early tomorrow morning. Our rain chance here in Shreveport and Bossier is only around 20%, and that risk grows as we move into our Friday, mainly during the early morning hours of our Friday there. Temperatures will drop into the lower 80s and upper 70s across the region, and as we move through the weekend, little to no rain chances are expected. We may see a higher rain chance for Sunday, and another system should move through the Arklatex by Monday and into the start of the new work week, where highs will drop into the lower 70s and upper 60s, and more than likely into the mid and upper 60s heading into our Tuesday. We could potentially see the 50s for highs as we move into our next the later part of our next work week, just after Thanksgiving, with another cold blast or another cool down on the way for us here in the Arklatex. But we'll be explaining all those details on KSLA News 12 at noon, 4, 5, 6, and 10 p.m. tonight. Make sure to also donate to the food drive that we're going on, and the second food drive that we're doing here for today. I'll be live here at KSLA, right outside of the studio here. So make sure to drop off any donations here at KSLA and any other 4 stations that we have here with the reporters that are all around the Arklatex, or around the Shreveport and Bossier area at least. They're going to be out there, and you can say hi to them, and you can donate anything that you would like to give to the less fortunate, or anything that you may give to families that may need it most. Canned goods, anything that you can get. This is our KSLA food drive for 2025, and we just want to help end food security or lower food insecurity here around at least Northwest Louisiana and around the Arklatex potentially with this food drive here for today. So make sure to get out and donate any types of canned goods or non-perishable items that you may have here for today. And I will see you guys later on KSLA News 12 at noon. I'll be live later on. I won't be doing weather, but I'll be live later on during the 4, 5, 6, and 4, 5, and 6 o'clock shows, just telling everybody to donate. So I'll see you guys later on in the KSLA News 12 at noon, and I will see you throughout the afternoon shows as well. Make sure to have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you on this podcast here by next week.